What's going on, guys? Mr. Jones coming at you once again. Today we're going to do the last thing we have to really do before test review. So the first part of Ready, Set, Go 3.8, which is what we're going to do today, RSG 3.8, is going to be to simplify some radicals. So here's a reminder. If you have a radical, I don't know, I'm just going to give you a random one that's not on there, but the square root of 24. We know we have an invisible 2 here, so that's what we're looking for is pairs, right? So any two numbers that multiply to give me 24, I choose 12 and 2, and you just keep going down until you can no longer do this anymore. So 6 and 2, 3 and 2, and we can cross off all the ones we've already used. Any pair comes out. Any non-pairs stay in. And then you always multiply if you have multiple things. So 2 square roots of 6 would have been the answer to the square root of 24. This is how you do problems 1 through 6. Okay? All right, on problems 19 through 27, so you're going to skip. You're going to do 1 through 6 and 19 through 27, by the way. These ones right here are factoring or quadratic formula. So I want to remind you of a couple things. If you see an equation that doesn't have a b value, for example, let's say it said, I don't know, 4x squared plus 16 equals 0. If there's no b value here, you could actually solve this like a normal equation. For example, subtract 16 from both sides and then divide both sides by 4 and then be able to solve it. This one doesn't work because it's going to be negative. So I should have given you a better example, but you can actually finish solving this. Divide by 4, x squared equals -4. And if this wasn't negative, you could square root both sides. Don't forget to plus or minus, and you get your answer that way, right? So you could do that. You could actually still use quadratic formula. So let's pretend the equation said 4x squared minus 16. Okay, equals 0. You do have a b value in there, but it's 0. So here your a value is 4, your b value is 0, and your c value is -16, and you can solve quadratic formula using that method also. Okay, if you have an equation that shows up and that equation doesn't have a c value, for example, number 25, but x squared, let's say it said x squared minus 8x, okay? You can set this equal to 0. You can't solve it the way we just did by taking the square root of both sides, but you can just factor out an x here, right? So x times x minus 8. And then now this is actually factored. So we have an answer of 0 and an answer of positive 8 here. And that's actually solved. Or your c value here is 0. So if you did quadratic formula, a value is 1, b value is -8, and c value is 0. And you can still solve it that way. Okay, so a couple different methods. Or you can factor it normally. So for example, factoring just means if you can find what multiplies to get your c value and adds to get your b value, then you can put it in factored form. For example, x plus 4, x plus 2. And then my answers are -4, -2. So a bunch of different methods is letting you choose. I expect you to do these problems, 1 through 6, 19 through 27, test review tomorrow. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Have a great day.